Excellencies, ladies and gentlemen, we will now proceed with the adoption of the recommendations section of the draft report on the UPR of Ethiopia. The troika for this report consists of the representatives of Algeria, Bangladesh, and the Kingdom of the Netherlands. And I would now like to give the floor to Mr. Rafik Mudash, Counselor of the Permanent Mission of the People's Democratic Republic of Algeria to the United Nations office in Geneva, who, on behalf of the Troika, will introduce the recommendations section of the draft report on the UPR of Ethiopia. Sir, the floor is yours.
Thank you, Madam Vice President. It's a great honor and privilege to present on behalf of the Troika composed of Algeria, Bangladesh, and the Netherlands the draft report of the UPR Working Group on Ethiopia distributed under the reference A/HRC/58/15. During the interactive dialogue with the state and the review held on 12 November, 114 delegations delivered their statements and 10 sent advance questions. As a result, Ethiopia was addressed 316 recommendations. The Troika would like to thank the delegation of Ethiopia, led by State Minister of Justice, His Excellency Mr. Belayun Yerga Kifli, Head of Delegation, as well as other delegations for their constructive and active engagement in the process and the preparation of this report. We are pleased that the recommendations will be examined and the responses provided not later than the 58th session of the Human Rights Council. The Troika would also like to address its thanks to the Secretariat for its active support during the entire process. With this in mind, the Troika submits this report to the working group for adoption. Thank you, Madam Vice President.
Thank you. We will now proceed with the adoption of the recommendations section of the draft report of the UPR of Ethiopia. The Troika for this report, Before adopting the recommendations section of the draft report, I would like to recall that as per the practice established in 2015, the entire report, including the summary section, will be circulated by email on 22 November 2024. All delegations will therefore have until the 29 November 2024 to make changes related to their own statements in the summary section of the report. All changes of the summary should be transmitted to the Troika through the Secretariat at the usual address. However, any comments on the recommendation sections need to be made now. Are there any comments? I see none. I propose that the working group adopts the recommendations section of the draft report on the Universal Periodic Review of Ethiopia. The section of the report is adopted. As per usual practice, Ethiopia should indicate in due time a clear position on all the recommendations and at the latest at the 58th session of the Human Rights Council in February to April 2025. And I would now like to give the floor to Mr. Belayun Yerga Kifle, State Minister of Justice of the Federal Democratic Republic of Ethiopia, for any final remarks he may wish to make. Sir, the floor is yours.
Thank you, Madam Vice President, distinguished delegates, distinguished member of the Troika, Excellencies, ladies and gentlemen. On behalf of the government of Ethiopia, I would like to express our sincere appreciation for the constructive engagement during the Universal Periodic Review process. We also extend our gratitude to the rapporteur who presented the working group's report today. We deeply appreciate the comprehensive and balanced recommendations made by all delegates, as well as the supportive and the collaborative spirit in which this review has been conducted. We value the importance of UPR mechanism as a unique platform for assessing the overall human rights situations of a state in a manner that takes into account the universality, interdependence, and indivisibility of human rights. We appreciate that for a country like Ethiopia, which is undergoing a process of profound political reform aimed at revitalizing the enjoyment of human rights, the UPR offers a great opportunity to deliberate upon and learn from the progress we have made and the challenges we have faced in our endeavor to ensure better human rights protection and compliance. It is with this spirit, with an eagerness to learn from our process as well as failures that we have participated in this 47th session of the Human Rights Council. As indicated in our fourth cycle UPR report, Ethiopia has been undertaking an all-encompassing reform in the past 5 to 6 years. Our efforts have included comprehensive range of reforms aimed at improving civil liberty, addressing socio-economic disparities, advancing gender equality, and fostering inclusivity. The reform has significantly advanced the enjoyment and protection of human rights in the country. The revision of repressive laws and the establishment of a new legal and institutional framework for the protection and enforcement of human rights and fulfillment of other international obligations stands as a testimony. We have also made substantial investments in social and economic development, particularly in health and education, which have led to measurable improvement in the lives of Ethiopians. Our commitment to achieving sustainable development goals remain unwavering, and we have made substantial progress in areas such as poverty reduction, healthcare access, and infrastructure development. We have taken steps to advance gender equality, including legal reforms aimed at ending harmful tradition practice, improving women's and girls' access to education, and promoting women's participation in political leadership. Ethiopia has ratified key international human rights conventions, and we continue to engage with international partners to ensure that our legal and institutional frameworks are in line with our international obligations. Madam Vice President, Ethiopia appreciates the broad range of recommendations put forward by UPR Working Group. We welcome the constructive dialogue with all delegations and thank them for their valuable insights. We have already taken steps to implement some of the recommendations and remain committed furthering this work. We also note the importance of the human rights situation in the context of regional cooperation and the need to address cross-border issues. Ethiopia is committed to contributing positively to regional peace, security, and development, working in close collaboration with our neighbors and international partners to address shared challenges. In conclusion, Ethiopia's engagement in the UPR process is part of our broader commitment to fostering human rights, peace, and stability, both within our boundaries and globally. We remain committed to ensure that all Ethiopians enjoy their fundamental freedoms and that our efforts to strengthen government and accountability will continue in a manner that is inclusive, transparent, and responsive to the needs of all citizens. We look forward to deepening international cooperation with our partners, including the UN system, guided by a spirit of respect, understanding, dialogue, and cooperation, as we also fulfill our responsibilities as a member of the Human Rights Council. We would like to express our deep appreciation to all delegations for their support and for the opportunity to share our experience and challenges. We look forward to working collaboratively with international community to address the recommendations made during this review. I thank you.
I thank you, Excellency, and I wish to thank once again the whole delegation for their participation in this review.